we have heard so much about the super activities and interconnections we have, but nobody really heard so far about the particular program. So let me briefly introduce to you also the Dean of Academic Affairs here at TU Wien, responsible for governing this program. This is Bettina Mihalyi-Schneider. But of course, this is a trilateral initiative with all the universities contributing equally. But of course, as we already heard, there are some challenges in the administration. So it is I think it was a very wise decision to hand over the coordination of the academic parts to one person. And I'm very happy to now offer the floor to Bettina to present the cornerstones and a little bit of the history, I think, of how this program came about.
Thank you, Marco. Yeah. So the development of new chemical substances and methods, we already heard a lot about that, will contribute to solve these challenges and problems we have. But essentially, we have to follow the principles of green chemistry with doing that. And to have in mind that also the broader consequences that follow every change we have. So not everything is always in a positive way, so we always have to take trade-offs. So also the timeline, it was some events were already mentioned, so the coffee break who took place in 2019 in April. So some people got, the baby was already mentioned, got pregnant with this idea. There was another meeting in October where there was the first presentation in a bigger group of this idea of having a master program between 3 different universities. And then there was a little bit of break, we all know why, but then we started to continue in 2021 with some meetings of a kind of core group, so representatives from each university came together to set up a plan how this master program could look like. And yeah, these were the milestones on the way. We speeded up a lot by getting the submission of a consolidated draft that was accepted in all 3 houses. But from accepting this draft until it really could take place, it was still a long way to go. And I also would like to thank all the colleagues who were involved and contributed, and would like to thank them for their dedication and their patience on the way, because here we have a quite flat and straight road. It was not like that. So there was, especially at the end, some kind of things appeared, so that had to be dissolved very in a short time, so it was really challenging. But at the end, we succeeded to start up this master program in October 22. So what is it about? Of course, the best of all 3 houses. We already heard some parts of that. And it should be, so it is an international master, should have an international perspective, since this master curriculum is held in English. And it also was one of the points that were basically to be taken into account is that it should be experimental oriented. So not only theoretical, so the aim was also to have an experimental part to get these things into being done, or up to higher technology readiness levels. So within this master program, we have several rules so that it is guaranteed that all 3 universities are involved in more or less in the same amount. So the students who are coming in should pass minimum 25% of their lectures in one university. And the administrative lead is at the TU Wien, so as we heard, but I'm very happy that I have colleagues also at BOKU, that is Hubert Hettecker, he is here, and also from the University of Vienna, Mrs. Menner, who support me in their universities. What is the aim of the program? Of course, we heard it already. We want to train graduates who are capable of implementing clean technologies and innovations in the field of green chemistry. So they are experts in this field and have a special critical view and critical thinking skills. So that's something we are going to teach them especially. And they also should have the ability to reflect on different solutions. That's also something very important, because usually a problem has not only one solution. There's usually a variety of how to dissolve or ways to go to overcome some things. And this program, as we also heard, also should give a strong impulse to the research and development. And since we have at the Technical University, we have the concept of research-aided teaching. So this gives each other some kind of impulse. So we start with this program, and also I'm sure that in research and innovation we will have a big push through that. So what are the admission requirements? If there is a student interested in this program, there are some points defined they should bring with them, otherwise they cannot apply for that. So we defined a minimum of 48 ECTS of chemical subjects in different fields. So fundamental chemistry, analytical chemistry, physical chemistry. So it's not defined in which exactly, but usually it's quite a spectrum of that. Then another 60 ECTS of courses have to be done or passed in a closed field of chemistry and sciences, so like chemical technology or process engineering or theoretical chemistry. And out of the 48 ECTS of chemistry, minimum 16 should be done in laboratory exercises. So this is the frame that has to be fulfilled before you can apply for this master program. And then, since the program is limited to 50 people maximum, we have a kind of selection process installed. So the first step is to apply with a motivation letter. So where we can see, on one hand, why this person wants to apply, and also the ability to set the former education into the context to the questions we arise in this master program. Then the second part is an EChem test. This is a fixed set of questions that were developed by the ECTN network. So it's an European level, it's an organization, they do that already for a long time, and they provide a set of questions for different levels in the chemical education. And so here, through this EChem test, we going to get some kind of ranking of the applicants. And the last step is an interview. So we had already an interview training with some of the colleagues, since that should be done in a more or less in the same way for each group. And if there are, so at the moment we are not that many applicants, or didn't have that many applicants, but we're expecting a high, since the interest is very high, but for the next year we're expecting a quite higher number of students here. So we need a group that is carrying out these interviews. So the structure of this program, we have some kind of fundamental courses altogether with 36 ECTS. And this is, one aim is to bring up the students to a common level, and to a common level also of knowledge about the concepts of green chemistry. This module, so each module has 6 ECTS. Of these 4, they are more theoretically, and there is another 5th, more a practical module. So they have to do some lab courses combined with the theoretical input they got before. And it's also a little bit sorted, because concepts of green chemistry is the module that is mainly led by TU Wien and has many contributions from TU Wien. But also there is a ring lecture where all the university take part about the recent development in green chemistry. Then the next module is feedstocks and renewables. We already heard that this is the core competence from BOKU, so the lectures there are mainly from BOKU. And then we have the environmental analytics and chemistry and toxicology. We also got some names of the lectures that are in there, dealing with toxicology, so the basic informations and knowledge they need, and also about analytical chemistry in environmental things, analytics. And the last, or the fourth block, is sustainable development, where we are all three universities in the same amount involved. So this gives a view with critical raw materials and the recovery of critical raw materials. Also a view, there's Freddy Kleitz, he's always somewhere, yeah. He was already mentioned. So a view also of the circularity and circular economy, how can it be done, especially for critical raw materials. And also I'm involved in there with the technology assessment and socio-ecologic part. I don't know if the lecturer is here today from the BOKU. So this is something really new. This is a very new lecture we have in there, and I'm very looking forward for the cooperation here. After doing these fundamental courses, there are the bound electives. There we have also 4 different thematic blocks. The most interesting one is the catalog design, since we have there from the very small scale, the computational modeling, up to the process design, computation modeling of molecules, up to the process design. So we have a broad variety coming from the very small scale up to the highest technology readiness level before it goes to industry. Then we have a catalog with reagents and feedstocks. So the feed or the raw materials is here the focus on. So new raw materials and methods how to process them. And then we have the synthesis, of course, different methods, new methods to be developed. Also catalysis, enzymes are in there. And the last one is the process and utilization. So there is more the process development in direction of applications, and also a lot of biotechnology tasks are in there. And the rest are free electives and, of course, the master thesis at the end. Yeah, that is the main structure, and we have really a high contribution of each university, so to be as flexible as possible for the students, since I think it's also a challenge to move from one university to the other, apart from the organizational and structural differences. So also these logistic things is maybe challenging for the students. And this is something is also already mentioned. So the master program is one step, and there is already the PhD school in discussion, and also a program or a continuing educational program also in the field of green chemistry is planned or is in discussion. So I hope I did not take much more than 10 minutes now, but there's also room for questions now or afterwards. I will be here also after the rest of the talks. Thank you.